One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With vengeance roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to the freaking IWF. Let's get it, man. All right, as you guys can see from the title here, Trump threatens Oman over Hormuz, as well as Penn State cocaine ring bust, and Ukraine war escalates. All right, so we've got a lot of we've got a few updates that we presented yesterday as well on the topics, and then of course from last week as well. We've just got some stuff that's popping up. So referring to yesterday, we covered Hayden Pantier, and unfortunately she died at 36 years old. And I guess they do have this 911 audio, and I guess it reveals more details about the TV star's death. Because when we got the original report, there really wasn't like a detailed analysis of what happened there, to be honest. So hopefully this helps. Then on the aspect of Tupac, we got Tupac Shakur trial, new details in the murder case. This coming out just right after we did the show yesterday, essentially, is when it came out. And we don't really have much stuff from yesterday. We actually have a lot of stuff from today. But speaking of, we do have something else from yesterday, which is President Trump answers reporters' questions in the Oval Office. And guess what? He goes the fuck off, so on one of these reporters. Very funny. Anyways, we got Luigi Maggioni's state murder trial pushed back as well. It says Luigi Maggioni's state murder trial has been pushed back after his defense attorneys made a move to toss the local charges against him. That is according to court documents. Yes, because it's a federal and state, and they're talking about how this could be double jeopardy right now. So the state may have to drop essentially their case and leave it to the feds. And then we have Tupac, regards to Tupac again. It says Kefi, I'm not sure how his name is actually pronounced, but Kefi D stands trial for rapper's 1996 killing. Then we have Ukraine. We obviously discussed the big Ukrainian attack that Ukraine has done over Russia, and the aspect that they did it kind of back-to-back major drone attacks. And there's a couple of reports that say that there was 600 drones used, and then there's other reports like CNN, all these other ones are saying that it's 800 plus drones. So very interesting developments, but we do have that from France 24 English. Then we have Trump threatens to bomb Oman over Iran Strait of Hormuz deal. This coming out just 4 hours ago, by the way. And we're going to be discussing that here momentarily. But then we got creepy masked man chases joggers in Philadelphia, asks women, "Are you ready to die?" What the fuck, dude? And it's a weird looking mask, like one of those horror movie masks. So I don't know if he's trolling out there or what the hell is going on. Then we have 14 arrested in Penn State. Cocaine ring fraternity is busted, man. It says 14 people have been charged in connection with an alleged cocaine trafficking operation involving students at Pennsylvania State University. Authorities said or say the alleged operation was connected to the Sigma, Chi, and Delta Upsilon fraternities and took place during 2023 and 2024. 13 of the defendants were Penn State students at the time of the alleged activity, including at least 4 who are currently enrolled. The 14th defendant is the father of a Penn State student, according to authorities. So, yeah, it sounds like he may have been the main connection or something. I don't know. We're going to find that out together. Then we have Disney sues Trump's FCC. This coming out just 55 minutes ago. It's got less than 1,000 views on the mainstream media right now because it just came out. Disney sued President Trump's FCC over the agency's challenge to broadcast licenses. Disney claims the FCC is retailing over Jimmy Kimmel and The View TV shows. Interesting. I'm not really sure in the exact aspect they're talking about with the FCC, but anyways, we're about to get into all of that. But quickly, before we do, let's go ahead and do our call to actions, and then we'll get into the madness of the morning. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. And it's free to do so. You know what else is free is hitting that subscribe button. That's what we do Monday through Friday. And of course, we have members only on Saturday morning, man. It's a good time. Speaking of members, please consider becoming a member starting only at $4.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as politics, all that great shit. Also, we have a Discord server for all of you legends for the community of the IWF, and also where I break news in there as well. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below of any live video that we do, and it'll have that invite link for you guys. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen somewhere. And listen, when you donate to these, I get 100% of the proceeds. And of course, I'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. By the way, little side note, we are raising money right now for the new camera, and the new camera is going to be extremely expensive. We're talking about $2,000, and that's me buying the camera used. So anyways, right now we're at $60 out of 2,000. We just started this goal yesterday. So we're 60 out of 2,000. So let's go ahead and help a brother out. We're going to make this better together. All right. Good morning to everyone, man. Always appreciate all of you legends for hanging out with us. We got Carney Vanguard. Appreciate you, by the way. We got Motivon Virginia and the coffee crew with the raid this morning. Thank you guys very much for the love and coming on over here and hanging out with us over here. We got Vanguard Critters as well. Good morning. We got Naomi. We got Brother So Loud as well as Gary. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's see. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. We got Bempton. Oh man, I'm just too retarded. Listen, man, that's just me. We got Jamie Lindsay. Appreciate you. Good morning. We got Easy Frank as well. Brother So Loud showing a lot of love in the chat. We got No Grow as well. We got Brother VC in the chat. OG Steve Easy. We got Mr. Steiny as well as Mr. Al Patterson. Shout out to all of you legends, man. TVT, always appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Good morning. All right. We got 2-4 as well. Appreciate you for hanging out, bro. All right. Let's go and get into the whole aspect of what we're discussing this morning. First of all, we got Mr. Big Boss. Good morning to you as well. We got Hayden Pantier. 911 audio reveals more details about the TV star's death. Now, we reported this whole thing was happening yesterday. Unfortunately, there wasn't an extreme amount of details of what happened. All we know is that she was 36 years old. And that's basically it. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Give me a second. I had it up, then I just ruined it. There we go.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Stephanie Quinu, continuing to follow the very latest developments after the actress Hayden Panettiere was found dead inside her South Carolina home. This is a social media
What's up, Prez? Good morning.
Post from TMZ stating that there was a 911 call placed for a female in cardiac arrest with a possible overdose. Now, the TV star, who would have turned 37 on Friday, had been very open about her struggles with alcohol addiction and depression, including after the birth of her daughter in 2014. Joining us now to talk about the latest developments is TMZ's Michael Babcock. And Michael, you know, as you're continuing to follow the very...
Did we get that name right? Babcock? What kind of name?
About the latest developments is TMZ's Michael Babcock. And Michael...
Jesus, that is brutal. Real quick, we got a donation coming in. Let's see. We got Mr. Steve Posey. Yes, sir. Good morning. And he sends in a 10 spot saying, because every little bit helps. That's a fact, Jack. Very much appreciate you, kind sir. Let's freaking go, bro. Absolutely.
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
That's a fact, Jack. All right, let's get into this. Very much appreciate you, Steve Posey. And yes, it absolutely does. Every little bit does help. And make sure you get the likes up, everybody. You don't have to like all the craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here.
You know, as you're continuing to follow the very latest developments, you know, what can you share with us right now?
Morning, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. It's just such a tragic and a shocking story. You know, we talked about Hayden not too long ago. And
so his name is Michael Babcock. Babcock. Man, that's a brutal lineage.
And that she did have this book where she addressed a lot of the really difficult topics from her past, you know, alcoholism, drug addiction, you know, some issues that she had in Hollywood. And you really felt like she was in a good spot. And obviously then to learn last night that at just 36 years old that she had passed away. And now to learn this morning through some reporting that we've been doing that, you know, authorities, at least when they were at the scene yesterday, and there was a 911 call made around 1:51 p.m. Greenville, South Carolina, as one of Hayden's friends, as we've been told, walks into the place where she was staying. It was actually a place where her boyfriend, Brian, on again, off again boyfriend,
Brother Dean over there on the West Coast. Good morning.
Was staying, was living, and found Hayden in you know, in dire need of medical help. Calls 911. The paramedics rush over. When they get there, it was for a cardiac arrest, unresponsive female, and they...
Rabbit of Chaos, you're the best. I very much appreciate that. That goes a long way.
Speculated that it could have been a possible overdose. They attempted CPR, other life-saving measures. Sadly, they were not able to revive her. And a little bit after about 2:20 or so, she was pronounced dead.
And she would have turned 37 on Friday. We've also been seeing the reaction pouring from her co-stars and, you know, the Hollywood community in general, and everyone really just so shocked. She was just...
Yeah, it's extremely sad. We got Mountain Woman, by the way. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Hopefully they play this 911 call. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're... Oh, they it looks like they may play it at the end. I don't know.
So young, very open about her struggles. But as you mentioned, Michael, she was saying that, you know, she had hope and that she had a lot of life left to live. I think this was just, you know, so shocking to so many people.
Yeah, no, I could not agree more. We've obviously seen people in Hollywood, we've seen people all over, but in Hollywood particularly, who have died young, and a lot of times it has to do with addiction. But when somebody, you know, writes a book and so much of it focuses on those issues, yeah, you really had felt like she had gotten past those and was actually now helping other people who might be going through similar things that she had experienced in the past. And yeah, I think it's a gut punch to...
Well, you got to help yourself before you can help others. And a lot of times people try to help others before they help themselves. Unfortunately, they kind of get a little bit backwards on that aspect. You have to be in recovery. You have to be selfish. You know, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You have to focus on you. Anyways, we got Tupac Shakur trial, new details in the murder case. We have that, and we also have a double update on that on this Tupac Shakur thing. We have also 13 hours ago. Tupac Shakur murderer Keffe D stands trial for rapper's 1996 killing. All right, so we got a couple of things on Tupac here. Let's go ahead and play these out real quick. Here we go.
On September 2nd.
And we're not even going to play this whole thing, by the way, but this is the opening statements in Tupac's murder trial. So let's just go ahead and give it a little bit of a listen here.
1996, Tupac Shakur came to Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson fight. After the fight, Tupac, along with Suge Knight, Trayvon Lane, and other people that were with that group.
Why do you have such terrible audio in there, by the way?
Ran into a person named Orlando Anderson. And Orlando Anderson is the defendant's nephew. And when they encountered Orlando Anderson sitting by himself, they attacked him. And that attack was captured on video.
Damn. I've never seen the video.
Then, a few hours later, Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight drive down Flamingo Road to Club 662, where Tupac is scheduled to perform a concert.
And then he dies in that car.
Then 2.5 hours later, after Tupac and Suge engaged in the beating of Orlando Anderson.
Oh, okay. So it's Keith. That's interesting. Oh, I should have put 2 and 2 together, homie. I just didn't. I'm reading it like fucking some like. I'm trying to be literate, but I'm totally illiterate, so that's what I get.
Gunned down. Tupac is gunned down in a drive-by shooting from a white Cadillac in an act of revenge. During those 2.5 hours, you will learn that the defendant was escalating and planning the retribution for the beating of his beloved nephew. Now, let's be clear. Dwayne Davis did not pull the trigger. But what he did do was plan the retaliation for the beating of his nephew. You will learn that Dwayne Davis got the gun. You will learn that he got into a white Cadillac. You will learn when the opportunity presented itself for retribution, Dwayne Davis made sure that the shooters were armed and ready to execute their revenge. And remarkably, you will learn that from Dwayne Davis himself. But to understand what happened on September 7th, 1996, on the streets of Las Vegas, we need to go about 275 miles west.
You know, I real quick before they go into the rest of this story about going into Compton real quick, but I just couldn't help but notice I didn't see this news story breaking yesterday of this Oklahoma plant fire, but I'm seeing it down here on the bottom right, and that's a big fucking fire. So that's terrible. Usually I'm on top of it, like knowing when shit like that happens, but I'm just seeing it now. So
what you'll learn is that Compton is about 10 square miles, but in the mid-1990s, those 10 square miles were occupied by over 30 gangs claiming its territory.
It's probably more now.
And important to this case, there are 2 gangs.
This is okay. You gotta understand that. Think Compton's bad. You think? I mean, all of it's. I mean, Los Angeles. Look at where all. This is not new.
Bob Piru and the Southside Compton groups.
And in my opinion, by the way, to answer the question here, Steve Easy, I would say Tupac was better, in my opinion. But I'm not a East Coast rap fan. Okay, like I'm very biased to West Coast stuff. The sound of West Coast. And Biggie, there's nothing bad about him or necessarily, but he definitely has that East Coast kind of sound, and I just never got into it.
Let's talk a little bit about the Mob Piru. The Mob Piru is a group that associated with the color red. And you'll hear that Suge Knight, the person who was driving Tupac Shakur that night, grew up in the neighborhood of Mob Piru. But
what's up, Pablo?
In the 1990s, he had become a very successful CEO of the record label Death Row Records.
Okay, so this is the prosecution going off with their opening statement, and let's see if we get the other side's opening statement. Doesn't look like it. No, he takes up the full 10 minutes on this. So, anyways, we're not going to play the whole thing. I told you guys we're not. We have another update on it, and we'll skip to it right now. There was a couple of stories in between that because this came out basically the next day, kind of thing. We have it here. So let's just go ahead and see if there is any actual update to this, because this coming out 13 hours ago. So anyways, let's get a little bit.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. A live look over Las Vegas, where almost 30 years since the death of rapper Tupac Shakur in a drive-by shooting on the Las Vegas Strip, the man accused of orchestrating the murder is now standing trial. We have this from Fox News saying opening statements begin today in the murder trial of Tupac Shakur's alleged killer nearly 30 years after the rapper was gunned down in Las Vegas. Prosecutors say the suspect, Dwayne Keefe Davis, was riding in the white Cadillac involved in the 1996 drive-by shooting that killed the hip-hop legend and wounded Suge Knight. While he is not accused of pulling the trigger, authorities say his own words could play a major role in this case. Davis.
Well, and see, remember when we were talking about how he may have not pulled the exact trigger that killed Tupac, but they were saying in the very beginning that he made a phone call that led to that incident. So that's essentially what the whole thing was. And then we heard a little bit of the, they're trying to get him for murder. Well, not from him actually pulling the weapon, because he knew he was going to die after he made that call. So
discussed the shooting with detectives in 2008, and he later wrote about it in his 2019 memoir. His defense argues those claims were embellished.
What's up, Dutch Carp? Good morning, by the way.
Fictionalized. Now this decades-old
KP.
mystery is finally headed to a Las Vegas courtroom. That trial beginning today with opening statements as well as some testimony. Fox's Caroline Elliott has more from the courtroom.
Yes,
Tupac
Virginia
Shakur's
Chaos.
murder trial
Good.
begins nearly 3 decades after his death. Opening arguments taking place just miles away from the scene of the crime.
Oh, brother KP, by the way, I think this is perfect time for us to go ahead and do a little bit of our light up here. Let's go ahead and just organize ourselves. All right. I think everyone needs to embrace their fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
We will always embrace the process here at Insane Wheels. All right, let's get back into this.
Dwayne Davis made sure that the shooters are armed and
Okay, so wait.
ready to execute their revenge.
The rap
Okay, so they were just taking a clip there. I thought they were going to play the whole thing again. I was going to be like, holy shit, no, we're not doing that.
legend was killed in a drive-by shooting in
Here we go.
1996 in Las Vegas. And according to prosecutors, the motivation behind the shooting is a complex mix of gang rivalries, retaliation, and family ties.
Dwayne Davis did not pull the trigger. But what he did do was plan the retaliation for the beating of his nephew. You will learn that Dwayne Davis got the gun. You will learn that he got into a white Cadillac.
Tupac's murder has gone unsolved for decades, but police revived the investigation in 2019 after former gang leader Dwayne Keefe D. Davis released a tell-all book.
What's up, Sterling, my man? And yes, here's the book, by the way. Here it is. This is the book that Virginia Chaos pointed out earlier.
In the book, he says, then jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something to their
Davis was then arrested in 2023 and accused of orchestrating Shakur's killing. The defense says while Davis is not the murderer, he is guilty of lying. In the memoir,
Yeah, in 1996, I was 1 year old. I was born 95.
past interviews to sell books and make money.
I should say 1 year.
You have to ask yourself if what they're saying is really truth or fiction.
And Davis has pleaded not guilty. If he's convicted, he could face life in prison.
Of course.
In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Yeah, I know. Hey, we've been following this story a little bit for the last, what's it been? Maybe the last week and a half, 2 weeks or something like that. We've gone a little bit into it, but we're not going to stick on this point. Of course, Nima is being brought on over here and they're going to go ahead and have this conversation back and forth, but that's actually not what I brought that up for. I wanted to just follow the story. Anytime we bring anything up onto the show, we of course do our best to follow the story and figure out what's happening. Anyways, we got President Trump answers reporters' questions in the Oval Office. And the reason why they clipped this one, this particular whole segment out was because it was 20 minutes worth of questions. There's a lot of questions, but there is one kind of viral moment that I'm sure that you guys saw on the mainstream media. I'm sure that you guys saw it on your social medias and shit like that of Trump going off on the CNN reporter yesterday. Anyways, we have that for you guys, and we're going to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, please.
Are you policy question, Mr. President? There's a lot of debate right now about these license plate scanners that are going up across the country.
Locked.
Called flock cameras. People are worried that the police might misuse them. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
What's your stance?
Well, it's being studied right now. You know, you have pros and cons, right? It's being studied right now. We'll have an answer sort of as to our views on it over the next couple of weeks.
Mr. President, yesterday John Ossoff said you'd rather travel with your aide, Natalie Harp, and build the ballroom than do your job as president. What is your response, John Ossoff?
You mean Pee Wee Herman? Pee Wee Herman lookalike? No, I would much rather do other things. We're building a great facility here. We're fixing a White House that hasn't been taken care of. You can look at this. This room was a disgraceful situation, the Oval Office, and it was let go. The whole building, the White House, was let go. The exteriors were falling apart. The columns were falling apart. The whole place was a mess. In addition, they've been trying to get a ballroom for the last 150 years. And when I said I was going to build a ballroom, the military yesterday could see me, and they say, "Sir, we have an opportunity to go down deep into the ground and build a military facility to go with the White House and to go with all of Washington, D.C., which would be so valuable." And then they came up with the drone port on top, which would be a major drone port to protect the White House and all of D.C. And all of those things added up, and it became much more than just a ballroom. And I said to myself, well, what an opportunity. I mean, if I was just going to build a ballroom, I could have had it built very quickly because I build very well and very quickly. And we went 5 stories down.
He said, I do these.
Down into the ground. We did a lot of tremendous things for the military, things that they could never get. They said, this is an opportunity that we have because you're building the ballroom, that if you would be willing to spend more time, we would love to be. We've been trying to do this at the White House for many, many years, and they've been trying to have a ballroom at the White House for many, many years. Now, what
And by the way, good morning to you, Extra Surprise.
happened is we used to use tents, and the tents are usually made of either plastic material or canvas, and they wouldn't stop a 22 caliber. They wouldn't stop anything in terms of safety. It'd be very dangerous, and they haven't used a tent for years. They haven't had any big, like we have President Xi coming on September 24th or so. I think it's September 24th, and we'd love to have 2,000 people coming to dinner and celebrating a nice evening, et cetera, but we only have a room that's going to hold 89 people, and 89 people is not appropriate. So maybe more importantly, it's totally secure with bulletproof windows, bulletproof sides. It's drone proof. It's missile, every at the top of the line.
Oh, wow. I'm a total fucking asshole. It happened. VC and Mr. Al Patterson almost got it by me, but hey, listen, better late than never. You know what I mean? All right. So we got Mr. Al Patterson that started it off at 10:12, by the way, Central Standard Time. Money me, money now. Man, I can't. And he says, hope this helps, brother. Absolutely, it helps. It goes a long fucking way. Let's do it.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Al Patterson, for that. And then we got Brother Virginia Chaos. He sends this in a couple minutes after Mr. Al Patterson did. He sends a 10 spot saying, Steve Posey started it. Can we get more people to? Man, thank you very much, guys. That goes a long way. Thank you very much for that. So I'm going to have to add it up after the show. But see, 25 plus another 10 on the YouTube side, 35, 45. So 45 plus. So we're at $105 out of 2,000 for the new camera. Well, new to me camera. I'm going to be buying it used. But anyways, yes, $105 towards the camera. Thank you guys so much for that.
And especially with what's happened, unfortunately, to the world, you could say. Yeah.
So do you believe the ballroom is a big part of your presidency?
This morning you said you would bomb the ass out of Oman if they got in the way of reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say you're out of patience with Oman as strategic?
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do others.
Just based on your answer on the ballroom.
I have two questions. There was a report by Senator Square that nearly 24 Democratic attorney generals, months before your reelection, were basically planning already lawsuits against you. And wanted to see what your comment is on that. Second question.
I heard about that. I'm not sure.
I can't remember if it's this chick or it's another chick.
Right,
he's going to get into it here in the next few minutes with some chick that's a reporter for CNN.
Weaponized this country like never before. The Democrats, or the Democrats as they call them, they've weaponized the country like nobody's ever seen anything like it. When you see the reports that are coming out now, that you would have never seen if I...
Yeah, Gary, he's got the, what did you call it, Sterling? It's not the Taj Mahal. It's the God damn it. I'm trying to remember your Middle Eastern strip club themed thing.
Had not won the election in a landslide, but you would have never seen it.
Hardwire, good morning, by the way.
The election, but the reports that you see coming out now and the kind of illegal activity that they used on the 2020 election and beyond is earth-shattering. These are very dishonest people, so I wouldn't be surprised to hear that.
Mr. President, based on your answer, Mr. President.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Vaj Mahal. That's right. Yeah, that's so great, dude.
This is on D.C. You have mentioned before if the Democrats get in again, they made and make D.C. a state. A while back, Senator Michael voted.
It wouldn't be a state. It wouldn't be. I mean, if we're talking about us, we have, as you know, a very radically left person elected mayor. Who I haven't met. I'm sure she's very nice, but very, very, very radical left. And we would have to federalize D.C. You know, we've made D.C. great. When I got here, it was a very dangerous capital. I would have said to Ryder, don't come. It's too dangerous. Now I can see you can walk down the street. You can grab Nathaniel and all your friends. You can walk in. You're going to be very safe. But if you were here a year and a half ago, the numbers were horrible. The crime stats, the murders, the death, the drug dealing, everything was up. We have one of the safest. We've taken it from one of the most unsafe cities in the country to as safe a city as there is. Amazing what's happened to Washington. And it's our capital. We have to have a safe capital. And we did it through a lot of different reasons, but we also put the National Guard here. But in addition to that, the cleanliness, the new grass, the graffiti.
I appreciate it, but I really don't give a fuck about DC. I'm gonna be honest.
Have one again, but packed. The place is booming. People aren't. I was asked by the governor, could I do something because they were having Mardi Gras.
We're skipping ahead a little bit here, just so you guys know, because he'll get stuck on Washington D.C. about how he redid it, but he goes on forever about shit sometimes. All right, we skipped ahead.
That's in the whole country. We have down 15, 16, 70%, a record.
Why hasn't Kim Jong-un responded to your request to have a conversation?
How do you know he hasn't responded?
Has he?
Yeah, yes.
Did you speak to him? Did you speak to him before you made the announcement yesterday?
Where are you in conversation?
I'm very positive. Well, just so you understand what South Korea, look, South Korea has been protected by us for many, many years. And during my first term, they agreed to pay close to $3 billion a year for protection because we don't, they essentially weren't that. And I asked them to do it.
And what's crazy about it is if you look at South Korea, they are broke as a joke too. I mean, they
at my request.
They're not booming over there. Okay?
They weren't happy about it, but they agreed. I asked for $10 billion. And,
not yet. That hasn't necessarily happened yet. If you're talking about the intelligence aspect, underboss, that hasn't fully gone through yet. They've been trying to figure out how they're going to get the NDAA passed with that whole aspect, but that hasn't happened yet. We've been keeping our eye on that shit. Trust me, every day.
They were very unhappy, but we agreed for a short term that it would be $3 billion, and next year it would go up, and the next year it would go up, so they start paying for their protection. When the election was rigged and I ended up watching for 4 years and then coming back, I watched Biden rescind that $3 billion here for whatever reason. When I called recently, the president of South Korea, who I think he's very nice actually, but I called him, I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no thanks. And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I said, well,
they said no, thank you. And Trump said, oh, no, thank you. You don't want to be helping us in the denuclearization of Iran? Well, then we're going to go ahead and scale back our involvement of our training with you guys. Now, he said it was a little too late to cancel it fully, but he told Pete Hegseth that we're going to go ahead and bring it down to as minimal as possible during these next rounds of them training.
Why are we involved in helping?
And I guess they do like two major, it's usually about 2 times a year they do this training aspect.
So, and I want to help them, but when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand, and they say no thanks, and then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of dollars, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect not only them but other countries.
And real quick, and yes, I do agree with this aspect, Steve Easy. That's a whole different aspect. But usually, I knew what his angle was about the military intelligence sharing.
Look at NATO. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars protecting Europe from Russia. Hundreds of billions, mostly from Russia, but from other things too. And then they say, well, they don't want to get involved with guarding the strait where they get most of their oil. They get 50% of their oil, and they don't want to get involved. Why are we?
What's up, Poser Punk? Good morning.
Doing it. So all I want is fairness. And South Korea, I get along with them very well, but they were paying $3 billion a year, and then they convinced Biden that I was probably a bad person, and they shouldn't. And he immediately rescinded that order. So we were getting paid. We would have been getting paid a lot more, but we can't go around and protect all of these countries, especially when they're not there to help us.
On expiration of the memorandum of understanding, are you any closer today to reaching a final deal to end Iran's nuclear program?
Well, they want to make a deal, but they're not going to make the kind of a deal that I feel is necessary. Look, we're in there for one reason. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. You understand that? Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon. And right now, them building one after what we did previously with the B-2 bombers, going to be a long time to have. But Iran cannot have. It's very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Mr. President, South Korea.
How do you respond to folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back the military
No, I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect, and we met on numerous occasions, actually 2 primary occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him. He understands me. You're doing war games. I get along with him. He didn't like Biden. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like anybody. but I get along with him very well. No, what I'm doing is making things safer.
Did he ask you to scale back on those?
Quiet.
Oh, here it goes. Yeah, because she's jumped in twice like that now, where she's jumping over the other reporters when he's not even paying her any mind. So let's go ahead and hear how this is going to go down.
Did he ask you to scale back on those?
Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this young man. Okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news.
I just wanted to follow up on the South Korea question.
You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news.
I was trying to find out
Shit.
Oh, shit.
if you had been talking to Kim Jong-un, if he had asked you to scale back on those military exercises.
Mr. President, is there enough food on USS Lincoln?
Yeah, that was a CNN fake report. The Lincoln has been out there for a period of time, good period of time. But over the years, we've had him out there much longer. I was at a group meeting, and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend. And it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir. And I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of. And other people went out and they found out to be true. It was fake news reporting from CNN.
Mr. President. There's a report that CCTV just bought a historical building overlooking the White House. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't heard about
Mr. President. Mr. President, yes, Mr. President.
Yeah, go ahead, beyond you.
The British Prime Minister recently reportedly sent text to someone impersonating Susie Wiles. Are you concerned about his judgment or the state of communications between the two countries?
No, but who happened? What happened? They sent text?
Apparently the Prime Minister sent text to somebody impersonating Susie Wiles.
No, I'm sure that he had a miscommunication.
Mr. President.
He's the Prime Minister.
Mr. President.
I spoke to him. We had a good conversation. A couple of them. We had a good conversation. One of the things he is going to do, I think he's going to open up the North Sea. That'll make UK pretty rich, I'll tell you. If he opened up the North Sea, now he's got an immigration problem and he has an energy problem. He would have solved one of his problems. That would be a big thing. That would make UK rich. If you open up the North Sea, it's one of the great finds anywhere in the world. And if they would open up the North Sea, UK would be rich again.
Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President. Have the people that you
Don't you find them nice? Huh? Nice people, right? Look at him. He's saying, where do people like this come from? Your son is saying, where do people like this come from? Go ahead.
Oh shit, it's the press. What do you expect?
Especially her.
The people who are opposing the ballroom and challenging it, have they offered any sort of solution or sort of compromise, or do they just say there's no goal there?
The people that are opposing the ballroom are people that, in my opinion, are very disloyal to our country, very, very disloyal to our country. And I think we're doing very well. We're way ahead of schedule. We're under budget. It's going to be the most beautiful ballroom of its kind. You know, when I was in China, we went to the Great Hall of China. It was a big, beautiful building. We don't have anything like that. And we have to have that. It's very important. But we also are getting tremendous military protection, drone protection. The building is drone proof. It's missile proof as much as something can be missile proof. It's totally bulletproof. Any bullet, nothing can go through the windows. We have, all top of the line stuff. It's very safe. And the one thing, it's not for me.
What up, I
a very short period of time when it's finished. If it finishes right on time, on budget, on time, I'll be there for 4, 5, 6 months. This is for future presidents. This isn't for me. This is for future presidents. And it's a gift. We're making a gift to our country, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build a ballroom. And it's a gift from...
What up, TNT, my man? Good morning.
Great patriots of this country. From, as an example, I'll give you names. I released some of the names. In fact, I wanted to put them out today, but we got a little busy. And this was, frankly, being with this group of people was very important to me. But we'll be putting them out, some of the people that contributed. But this is a gift to the United States of America. No taxpayer money is necessary. And you can have the finest ballroom anywhere in the world. It's not something I wanted to do, but it's something that's needed. And again, I'm not going to get to use it very much because by the time it's completed, I'll have 4 or 5 months left, 3 months, who knows. But we're ahead of schedule. It's going to be the best of it in the world, of its kind in the world. There'll be nothing like it in the world. It fits beautifully with the White House. It's gotten fantastic reviews.
All right, cool. I don't need to hear any more about the stupid ballroom. All right, let's get into Luigi Mangione state murder trial pushback. All right, so as you guys know, the state may have to actually drop their charges against Luigi Mangione because the argument is that there's a double jeopardy going on with the feds and the state level. So it sounds like that the charges may have to be dropped on the state level. All right, let's do this real quick.
Fox, I'm Ryan Schmelz. We do
There's
have
a very, very quick update before we get into the regards to Ukraine.
some breaking news to get to here. The trial for Luigi Mangione has been pushed back. This from our colleagues over at Fox 5 in New York, saying proceedings in the state murder prosecution of Luigi Mangione have been pushed back after defense attorneys made a move to toss the local charges against him, according to court documents. And we do have some footage here of Luigi Mangione. I'll read this from our colleagues at Fox 5, saying the Luigi Mangione state murder trial pushed back following federal guilty plea. Proceedings in the state murder prosecution of Luigi Mangione have been pushed back for the time being. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office now has until October 9th to submit its filings for...
Yo, you know, Poser Punk, it's funny that you said that, because I remember when the whole thing happened and I was reporting it that morning. You actually came in, you're like, no fucking way. That's down the street from my house. And I'm like, no shit, dude. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I remember that.
The postponement of the state trial that was previously scheduled to launch September 8th. The legal push follows Mangione's admission of guilt in federal court late last week. Luigi Mangione is accused of killing a former United Healthcare CEO. We'll continue following this when we get some more updates here, but as of right now, that is what we have to report, that Luigi Mangione's state murder trial has officially been pushed back, according to court documents.
Yes, because they're trying to figure out if they're going to, go through with the state charge. Okay, real quick, let's get into Russia, Ukraine. We were talking about the couple days of hellfire that Ukraine basically sent into Russia. Ukraine, well, they actually report, anywhere from 600 to 800. Okay, CNN's reporting it at 800. France 24 is calling it 600. I've heard other outlets say that it was like anywhere from 5 to 750, so it's in that range, right? So anyways, this is a lot of drones that was used, and in one single night there was 500 drones shot down by Russia in a single night. Real quick, we got Jamie Lindsay coming in hot, by the way, with the 10 spot, saying pitching in for the camera. Yes sir, thank you very much for that. Let's fucking go. All right, so let me write that down real quick, because as you guys know, we're fundraising over here for a new camera, and it's going to be very expensive. So we're at $115 out of $2,000 for the camera right now. So I'm going to actually end up putting, you can see the reflection. You can see my car out there. Haha. Yeah, it's a badass car. Anyways, we're at $115 out of 2,000. Thank you very much, Jamie, for that. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys, and we'll get into the madness. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it.
Early this morning, Ukraine launched over 600 drones at the Moscow region.
She's very loud.
In what is one of the biggest air assaults on the Russian capital of the war. At least 3 people, including a 10-year-old girl, have been injured there. Now, meanwhile, just a note on...
And TNT, you want to know what's funny about it? That's me buying the camera used, okay? The camera, brand new, I think is $4,000, $4,400 or something like that. They're not cheap, man.
What's been happening as well in Ukraine, a Russian attack there overnight on the Kharkiv region has killed at least 10 people. Well, let's get the latest for you on both of those attacks. Emmanuel Shaz is our Kyiv correspondent. She's with me on the program. What can you tell us then, Emmanuel, about what's been happening, particularly in Moscow?
Well, she's French. What do you expect over there, Naomi?
Well, indeed, there was a large-scale attack, Ukrainian drone attack that hit particularly the Moscow region, but not only. According to Russian authorities, nearly 800 drones were launched at 13 different regions across Russia in Moscow region. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry confirms that it has targeted a Wildberry logistics centers. Now, why?
Now, they say here at least 3 people, including 10-year-old girl, injured. Kyiv launched over 600 drones at Moscow. I know that they're saying 3 people here, but the official Reuters report was 6, by the way.
Are those logistics centers targeted? Well, they do sell online military equipment, drone components that are being used by the Russian
Yeah, sorry, man. I love my Toyotas, man. I'm just gonna be honest. I love them.
army. And also the financial branch of Wildberries is under EU sanctions because it's
Man, there's only a couple of people. I'm gonna be honest about that, Sterling.
financially helps Russia to launch its and to continue its war of aggression against Ukraine. So those strikes on Wildberry complexes have been confirmed. There's also seemingly several fires that have started in Moscow region, including on an aluminium plant there. Meanwhile, Russia continues to
I love how they say aluminum, aluminum, some weird way.
target civilians here in Ukraine, in Kharkiv region. You've mentioned this strike on Pechenihi. This is close to Shohoyev. 10 people were killed this morning. More than a dozen were injured when 2 missile strikes hit a cafe, hit a post office, and the Foreign Affairs Ministry condemned those strikes and says that it shows that Russia still isn't ready to agree to a ceasefire.
And Emmanuel, tell us a bit about the impact this is all having on Ukrainian politics, because there have been months of protests, haven't there? And the full composition of Volodymyr Zelensky's government still actually isn't known.
Indeed, there is still political.
Interesting, it shows here, strike also injured 8 in village in Ukraine northeast. Russian attack on Kharkiv kills 10. I didn't know about the counterattack, which I'm glad that they showed that to me just now, because I knew that there was a counterattack, but I didn't know to what extent.
Instability here while the country is defending itself against the Russian.
Are you talking about my car, Steve Posey? It is a Toyota Camry TRD. That's what it is.
Aggression. It's been a month now that people have taken to the streets following Volodymyr Zelensky's dismissal of the previous government. So now the government of Serhiy Koretsky, the prime minister, has proposed a plan of action presented to the Rada, the Ukrainian parliament, which is reconvening today after a month-long summer break, a summer break that has been much criticized because it happened just as the government was in shambles, I would say. So we have a minister of defense, we have a minister of foreign affairs, but they are temporarily nominated by Volodymyr Zelensky. But the president hasn't submitted names for those 2 very important ministries to the parliament, which has to validate it. And there's 2 issues with that. The current provisory defense minister, Yevhen Mara, he's much respected. He's the former head of the intelligence. He's widely recognized as a talented soldier, military man, but a military person cannot be.
Really quick, I wanted to see, because I saw here, it was on here anyways. Let me see. I think it was up here. Yes, first look at Ukraine's empty Patriot missile launchers. I guess that was something that just came out 1 hour ago. But I saw something more on the drones. Here it is, this report. Let's go ahead and just quickly move over to this, because I do want to see. God damn it, it won't fucking pause. There we go. It was blowing up in my ear. Okay, let me quickly bring this up. I want to see this real quick.
This aerial attacks of the war. Local authorities say at least 6 people were killed in the attacks. Russia says it.
See how there it is. That was the official number on that attack, was 6 people, and they're calling 800 total drones were shot down. And then the night prior to that, I think it was 500 that were shot down. 187 drones neutralized over Moscow.
Shot down more than 800 Ukrainian drones overnight, nearly 200 of those in the Moscow region. Ukraine is increasingly firing at targets deep within Russia, including warehouses Kyiv claims are supplying the Russian military. Russia firing back at Kyiv overnight with a mix of drones and missiles. Ukraine's Air Force says it did not shoot down any of the ballistic missiles, again highlighting Ukraine's short supply of missile interceptors. And we are joined now by CNN military analyst, retired U.S. Air Force Colonel Cedric Leighton. Colonel Leighton, what do you read into?
Yeah, real quick. If I were to have a truck, which I did have a truck, it's going to be American, obviously. But yeah, when it comes to the cars aspect, I've always been kind of a foreign. I don't think I've actually had a normal American-made car, I don't think, ever.
Ukraine's strategy here in launching these massive attacks while their own defense is hampered by the shortage of interceptors.
Yeah, Brian, good to be with you. One of the things that is critical here with the Ukrainian effort is they're trying to saturate the Russian air defense and missile defense systems. So the sheer number of drones that they're sending, those 800 that the Russians say they intercepted, that, of course, is a percentage of what was actually sent. And what that shows is that the Russians, yes, they do have some anti-drone capabilities, absolutely, but there are drones that are getting through. And basically what you're seeing here is the Ukrainians are going after a certain set of targets that are designed to hamper Russia's war effort. They know they can't defeat Russia on the ground, but they can defeat Russia, or at least move it to a stalemate in the air and in the drone war. And the drone war has basically taken over almost every aspect of this war, with the exception of what's going on in the Eastern Front. The drone war is really one of the most important aspects. And what that shows is that the Ukrainians have at least been able to not only take the war to certain areas of Russia, but they've also impacted the supply chain that the Russians have for their war effort. And that is
Well, and yes, and by the way that they're doing it is by Ukraine basically taking, like, for instance, when we're talking about Kyiv, down there, that whole, or no, not Kyiv. Here, actually, let me pull up the map. Let me go ahead and do that. Give me a second here. 3, 2, 1. Give me a second. Okay, let me go ahead and bring this up for you guys. Where am I looking at? There, Jesus Christ. There we go. Okay, so right here, this little aspect that's controlled by Russia right now, what they ended up doing is they blockaded the one connection that it does do into Russia, which is right here. They blockaded this bridge right here that connects over the water. And then they blockade, which is Ukraine blockading it, and then blockading what goes into it from both of these roads right here, and it goes into a choke point. So all of this is shut down so that no supplies can go in or out. I mean, they're doing that with multiple regions that they're fighting against. Anyways, let me go ahead and bring it back to this. Give me a second. We finished up with that. Now we have to get into Trump threatens to bomb Oman over the Iran Strait of Hormuz deal. So as you guys can see here, we have it on the title here, or in the thumbnail. So let me know. I mean, listen, man, we put a lot of time and effort into these fucking thumbnails. So yes, as you guys can see here, Trump did threaten Oman, and we're about to get into exactly why. Now, also, it's important to understand that yesterday was the expiration date of that 60-day limit for the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. So that lapsed yesterday. And then, of course, as you guys know, Oman is pretty much partnering up with the IRGC to get their tolls in and out for ships going in and out. They're making their own deal behind our back, essentially. Well, actually, right in front of us. Nonetheless, Oman's kind of playing dirty in that aspect. And then now Trump is giving his counter to, or that response to that. It's been a couple weeks since that all kind of happened, and this coming out just 4 hours ago. I knew that this was about to happen. I knew, I mean, shit, if you just pay attention, you knew this shit was bound to happen.
Right now, I do want to head to the latest coming in out of the Middle East, because right there on the right-hand side of your screen, a live look over the Strait of Hormuz as we continue to follow those developments here. Now, a Democrat senator says that he's going to file legislation to prevent U.S. military action against Oman. Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia posting on social media, and we do have this post for you right here on your screen, after President Trump told Fox News on Monday that if Oman gets in the way of the U.S. conflict with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz,
oh yeah,
the U.S.
right,
will
Chris,
bomb the expletive out of them. Kaine wrote on his...
If you think that that was all 100% generated by AI, you're so fucking mistaken. Do you know how much effort I have to go into in Canva on top of taking, which I've told everyone how I do it. You get the bones of the actual, background or whatever from AI, sure. But then you go in there and you have to edit it all yourself and what you got to put into it. You can't just fucking pop that shit out. Go ahead, try it. Let's see how great your AI shit comes out. Let's see if it comes anywhere close to mine.
Page there, I will
won't.
challenge Trump's deranged threat to bomb the blank out of Oman. Now, the senator says he will introduce a war powers resolution as soon as lawmakers return to Washington. If you're not too familiar with those comments here, we actually have this post coming in from Fox News where it says President Trump tells Trey Yingst he's in, quote, no hurry as a back channel with Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps officials remains open despite Tehran's public defiance. Trump says Iran is dying and playing its hand like a good poker player, projecting strength publicly while facing mounting pressure behind the scenes.
Yo, Chris, it takes me easily 45 minutes in the morning. So, I mean, I don't see, all I see you putting 45 minutes worth into anything so far is just hating.
His message is that Iran should wave the white flag, and he delivers a stark warning to Oman, quote, if Oman gets in the way, we will bomb the expletive out of them, end quote. There's a lot to discuss coming in out of the Middle East, as always here, so I do want to bring in an expert to help break down all of those developments. We have Joe Zaks, a former Deputy Assistant Director for CIA for Counterterrorism and adjunct fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Josh.
I really don't care about FDD given their report on this. I mean, we will get into it a little bit, but what I care about is up here is there's Reuters reports, Fox News reports. Let's see if there's I thought I saw Associated Press somewhere in here reporting some numbers. That's what I care about. So quickly, I'll go ahead and get his front monologue, and then we'll go ahead and get into the post.
It's a critical juncture in the ongoing confrontation.
What's up, Straight, my man? Good morning.
Iran. And I think the president is absolutely correct in saying that Iran is
How's your YouTube channel going, Chris?
In a very weakened state, but is trying.
How many subscribers you got?
Poker player to project a sense of power and control. And I think we're seeing that they, in fact, are moving up the escalatory ladder. We saw that over the weekend with attacks on shipping vessels, commercial shipping vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, and even this morning.
And it's important to note here that talking about the Strait of Hormuz, we have not seen a lot of movement through there. We have from Reuters, the latest numbers show over the last several days, there were just a handful of ships that were able to transit the strait. Why?
Well, and yes. So like on Thursday, this last Thursday, we saw 9 ships go through the strait. And then I think Friday was a little bit of a higher number. I think it was 14 or something like that. And then over the weekend, it went to 20. They were averaging somewhere about 20, somewhere in there. But you got to remember, before the war, we're looking at 200, anywhere from 180 to 250 that would go through the strait.
There's so many questions at this point still about who controls the Strait of Hormuz, because you have Iran, of course, saying that they control it. They can block everyone from traveling it if that's what
definitely not Oasis
they want to do. And then you have the U.S. and President Trump essentially saying that's not true. They control it, and it could potentially become a U.S. territory.
Well, I think that the naval blockade is very effective, and I think that it's placing a great...
Well, it's kind of our only real... it's really the only retaliation that we can do that actually does fuck their leverage over a little bit is us doing the blockade on the Iranian ports and basically suffocate them with money or a lack of money. But also, the big problem is if they're willing to die, they don't give a fuck if they're willing to go broke. That's kind of their theory. They just have to survive. That's their whole ideology, is just surviving. And if they have to go broke doing it, they'll do that.
Deal of pressure on Iran. Now, with respect to who exactly controls the Strait of Hormuz, I think in many ways what you see is that commercial shipping, and especially insurance companies and shipping companies, are simply very reticent to make the transit when there is a sense that they can be attacked. And Iran has shown repeatedly that they will do this, and instability. So whether you can transit the strait safely or not, there's simply a reluctance to take that kind of risk by insurance companies and by commercial shipping. So I think that the naval blockade is very effective, and in many ways gives us tremendous control, the United States tremendous control.
It doesn't give tremendous control, but it does give, where they're suffering about, anywhere from what the reports are, $300 to $400 million per day. At the low side, 300. So listen, I'm pretty much done with listening to this guy. I want to see the reports coming out here. So President Trump tells Trey Yingst of Fox He's in no hurry as a back channel with Iranian Revolutionary Guard officials remain open despite Tehran's public defiance. Trump says Iran is dying and playing its hand like a good poker player, projecting strength publicly while facing mounting pressure behind the scenes. His message is that Iran should wave the white flag, and he delivers a stark warning to Oman. If Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the shit out of them. Now, we already saw that. Now, I wanted to see Reuters on this. Oman and Iran have been in talks to try to reach an agreement to restore commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, which carried 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas supplies before the United States Israeli attacks on Iran began in late February. Quote, if Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the shit out of them, from Trump. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's go and see if there's any other reports on this quickly. I'm just going to scan through this. Give me a second here. Doesn't actually look like. Oh, wait. Nope. They're just showing the next one. There is something here from Senator Tim Kaine. I will challenge Trump's deranged threat to, quote, bomb the shit out of our ally, Oman. And so Tim Kaine sent over a 2-page thing, but I'll read over the first quote that I can see here. President Trump is increasingly deranged in his one-man campaign to threaten and initiate wars all over the globe. His wars are illegal since they are not approved by Congress, but he keeps on despite the massive toll on our troops, their families, the pocketbooks of everyday Americans, our stock of munitions, and our alliances around the globe. His threat was to waste even more of our dwindling weapons on Oman, a country the United States has strong diplomatic relationship and a free trade agreement with, makes real adversaries like China and Russia rub their hands with glee. Interesting. Okay, so it looks like that is the only thing that we're going to get out of that. Let's go to move on into a creepy man masked, a masked man chases joggers in Philadelphia and asks women, are they ready to die? What? Okay, all right, let's figure out what the fuck is going on this morning, man. This is coming out this morning. Here we go.
Story, and a very disturbing one coming out of the Philadelphia area as police are searching for a masked man wearing an incredibly creepy mask, that's probably an understatement, chasing people near City Hall. Shayna Ferreira over at Fox 29 Philadelphia is following all of this information here. And Shayna, this is scary for folks out there.
Yeah, scary indeed. I mean, we're talking about a person in a Chucky-style kind of Halloween mask recording himself as he antagonizes and in some cases chases down joggers across Center City near City Hall here in Philadelphia. So there is some surveillance video to get you to kind of give you a sense of what this investigation is all about. And police are even looking into to see if this is even some kind of social media trend, because according to investigators, this person is actually recording on a cell phone as he approaches and chases people down while he is masked. Now, all this started around last Wednesday, about 5 a.m., chasing joggers, getting their morning jog in. In one instance, you could see in the surveillance video, there's a chase that ensues. At this point, one jogger was confronted at least twice. The second time, she ran away, screaming for help, and actually injured her leg while trying to get away. Now, police say there's no evidence that the man was armed, but he does tend to essentially approach these women and ask.
Word. What's up, sick bastard? Good morning to you, by the way. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday. By the way, let's get the likes up, everybody. I appreciate that. You guys don't have to like all the craziness happening around the globe, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here on Insane Wheels. So I appreciate that.
One chilling question, which is usually, are you ready to die? Take a listen to what some of the women in this area had to say about the reaction to this guy that's still on the loose.
There's a lot of police that we can engage with when things are happening, but that's quite unsettling.
You want to kind of stick together if you come across somebody like that. If I seen him bothering somebody, or I would definitely assist the person, or if they needed some help or something.
Oh yeah, we are officially in overtime. You know what they say about overtime? No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Send in your freaking money. And we're raising money for our camera anyway, so it works.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Now that is officially the best propaganda you're going to get all day. All right, let's go and get into this.
Like that, but I mean, at this point, all we can kind of pretty much do is be observant and aware of your surroundings.
observant and aware of your surroundings. That really is the best key advice here, especially because police haven't been able to identify this guy. So we do have a description. This person is at least 5'8", medium build, black male, and get this is a young person. This is police believe no younger than 16 and no more than 20 years old. So this is a young person that is out there and that police believe could be terrorizing more people, and so more victims could potentially be out there. So one of the biggest things outside of just being aware of your surroundings, especially as you're going for your jog or going for your morning walk, maybe with the AirPods in your ears, keeping
What up, David? Good morning to you, by the way.
that spatial awareness, but also if you are a victim, if they've experienced this, Philadelphia police want to hear from you, and certainly if you recognize the person in that mask, in that surveillance video, that's also going to be key.
And that's true, Chris. Very true. Very true.
Information for Philadelphia police.
Shayna, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I'm sure we'll check back here as that investigation progresses. Thank you again for taking the time to join us.
Of course.
So this guy's still on the loose, huh?
And again, you are looking at that surveillance video coming in from Philadelphia police. You also have the photos that have been provided there by our Fox 29 team. Take a look. If you know who this person is, be sure to contact the Philadelphia Police Department. Now, the police did hold a news conference just yesterday breaking down some of the basics. And I want to go to that right now to just take a listen to some of that as the investigation, the search, is still underway.
Speaking about occurs basically on early.
What up, David? Good morning to you, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday.
Early Wednesday morning, August 12th. So I have I broke down a timeline of the events that this male or suspect was going to be involved in. It took place over approximately 15 to 16 minute time span. During that time span, he was able to accost a good many people, most of which haven't come forward yet. So I just want to preface it by saying, so far we only have one complainant that's stepped forward, but we know there are at least, at a minimum, half a dozen people that he was running up to and doing the same type of aggressive behavior towards. So I'm just going to go with the timeline that I broke down for you. So approximately 5:18 a.m. This is the first time that we observed the male in the intersection of 15th and Chestnut Street. He's actively engaged in running up to people. It looks like he's attempting to scare or antagonize them. He's also observed, which is a tell, holding a cell phone in his left hand.
Steve Posey, you know what's funny about this comment that you're bringing up? I've had a lot of there's a lot of weirdos out there, both men and women, by the way. They're fucking weird. We call them devotees. They're devotees to like sexually with people that are amputated. Dude, it's super strange, but they don't want no feet pics. They want nub pics. They want you rubbing your leg and shit like that. You know, it's fucking crazy. Trust me. Do you know how many fucking DMs I'll get from random people on my Instagram and shit like that I just have to fucking block? You know what I mean?
And the screen appears to be lit during much of our video. So it's a clear indication that he's filming this for his own purposes. 5:20 a.m., the male enters a Dunkin' Donuts in the 1500 block of Chestnut Street. He's refused service due to wearing this mask. He begins to lift it up. I guess he decides better. His behavior is slightly erratic. So he's refused service, and the male exits the store. 5:25 a.m., male's observed standing on the southwest corner. This is at 15th Street and South Penn Square, and he appears to be running up to people at that location, engaging in the same type of behavior. 5:28 a.m., he walks northbound on 15th Street. So he crosses the street. Now he stops. He stops at 15th and Market, and this is on the sidewalk in front of Dilworth Plaza. From there, 5:31 a.m., he crosses back over to the west side of 15th Street. Approaches a male who's wearing a safety reflective vest, and he proceeds to say something and start chasing this male all over the place. That male, the male with the safety reflective vest, he runs north out of view of our cameras.
Hey, VC, do you know how many fucking weirdos on both male and female have hit me up asking for shit like that? Yeah, they're instantly blocked.
So then at 5:33 a.m., our suspect then stands by the escalators. This is the escalators that lead down in the suburban station at 15th and Market. Then he's observed running behind our complainant, who's jogging. She's jogging northbound on 15th Street on the east, at which time he asks her, "Are you ready to die?" Complainant appears startled, at which time the male asks her again if she's ready to die. Clearly, she's not ready to die. So she takes off southbound on 15th Street. In the process, she injures her leg. The male's observed pursuing her back.
Yeah, but that's for a whole different reason. Has nothing to do with sexual. you know, in that kind of regard, it's because it feels good and my fucking leg is always in pain.
The
So
direction they had come from Market Street. Complaint was screaming for
Yeah,
help
no
this entire
kidding.
time. Male abruptly stops, and then he heads northbound on 15th Street, at which time he gets onto the escalators at Suburban Station at 5:35 a.m. So our suspect is described as being a black male, medium complexion, approximately 5 feet 8 inches, thin build, 16 to 20 years old. He's wearing all dark clothing as well as.
you know what's crazy with all these flock cameras and all this fucking CCTVs, his phone, all this shit, and he's on the loose in Philly. Like, how can you guys can't find him? You don't know what his identity is. You don't know shit about the guy. Yeah, fucking great. Anyways, that's enough of this. We're gonna get into now this whole big story about some cocaine ring. All right, 14 arrested in Penn State. Cocaine ring fraternity busted. Oh, shit. All right, let's go ahead and bring it up and figure out what the fuck is going on here. All right.
Right now, I want to get to a story that has a lot of people talking at this point. Now, this is all coming in out of Pennsylvania. Take a look at these photos where more than a dozen people were criminally charged over the alleged ties to a cocaine trafficking ring in Pennsylvania that involved 2 fraternities and students. There are a total of 14 defendants, 13 of which were Penn State University students at or around the time of the alleged crimes, which were in 2023.
Yes, I was just about to say that. The crimes actually happened in 2023 and 2024.
And 2024, they were charged Monday. That's according to the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office. 4 defendants face charges of felony corrupt organizations, conspiracy, and other offenses, while a 5th is charged with felony conspiracy and other crimes. 8 other student-age defendants.
That's the one, the father of one of the kids that was going to the school. And I'm only assuming that he, you know, obviously was maybe the connection to the drug ring with the fraternity. I have no idea.
Are charged with misdemeanor counts like possession. One defendant, who is the father of a student, is accused of evidence tampering and hindering the investigation. At least 4 of those defendants are current students, according to the Attorney General's office. Again, there is a lot to this investigation. 2 defendants, who were the main suppliers, made routine trips to Philadelphia and New York to get large amounts of cocaine, according to the AG's office. The cocaine was then packaged mainly at the Sigma Chi and Delta Upsilon fraternity houses and distributed primarily to Penn State University students. What's interesting here is we do have this update coming in from the Pennsylvania Attorney General as he breaks down all of the charges.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And I want to play that for you here right now on Live Now from Fox.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm Attorney General Dave Sunday, and we're here in State College today to announce charges against more than a dozen individuals in connection with a drug trafficking operation revolving around a pair of fraternities for Penn State University students. All but one of the charged defendants were Penn State University students at or around the time of this alleged criminal conduct. These charges were the result of a long-term investigation between the Office of Attorney General, Bureau of Narcotics Investigation, State College Police Department, and a pair of statewide investigating grand juries impaneled by my office. What we learned during this investigation was that between 2023 and 2024, large amounts of cocaine, kilos, were brought from Philadelphia and New York to State College, where they were cut and packaged for sale primarily to Penn State students. The 2 main dealers, the top of the chain, if you will, were senior members of the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Agostino Abatiello was at the very top of the chain. Thomas Robinson was a rung below that on the ladder. And this poster here shows Operation Drugs Unlimited, and it shows the hierarchy of the organization. The evidence presented to the grand jury led to a recent presentment and recommendation of charges against 14 defendants. The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges. In fact,
you know, Sterling, that's actually a valid question. Now, I mean, in the aspect now, curiosity for me.
We found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was for some pledges and indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Before I get into further details on the investigation and conduct, let me tell you about the charges. And I want to emphasize that all of these individuals are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Agostino Abatiello, Thomas Robinson, and 2 others, Mohammed Harabi and Lars Ziefat, are charged with felony corrupt organizations because this was a
What is up with these people's names, yo?
coordinated and organized cocaine trafficking operation with regular trips to those source cities and large amounts of cocaine being brought back to these fraternities. They are also charged with conspiracy, dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity, and related offenses. A fifth person, Robert Zanola, is charged with felony conspiracy and criminal use of communication.
You be safe out there, Pablo. We always appreciate you.
Facility and related misdemeanors. These are the 5 primary dealers. The 8 other student-age defendants in this case have been charged with misdemeanor counts of drug possession and paraphernalia. The only non-student charge is Thomas Robinson's father, Paul Robinson, who we allege took steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash, and obstruct this investigation. All are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. I know there may be many questions about the university in regards to these students and this conduct. This is very serious criminal conduct. There was nothing junior or childlike about this type of conduct. This was an upper-level trafficking organization for this region in Pennsylvania. In fact, multiple witnesses who testified in front of the grand jury referred to Battiello as the largest dealer of cocaine for Penn State University students.
I would assume
Regarding
so.
the university's knowledge or actions in response to this conduct, in consideration of the confidential nature of the grand jury proceedings and ongoing active prosecutions, I can say this. We did not hear of any drug packaging happening on Penn State's campus. Again, the packaging happened at off-campus fraternity houses. And the actual drug dealing was largely from friend to friend, fraternity brother to fraternity brother, acquaintance to acquaintance, and at fraternity houses and or during parties or social engagements. With regard to parents that might be watching this and thinking about what's happening at the school, I just want to say this. There is no city, county, community that exists that doesn't have to deal with issues such as drug use, drug dealing,
he's right.
Addiction, and things of that nature. This is something that occurs all throughout our country and all throughout the world. And that being said, we take it very, very seriously.
I wonder if they get embarrassed by the situation or do they get a hard on about the situation? Let me know what you guys think. This is the Attorney General, obviously. So,
which is why we conducted this investigation, which is why we filed the charges we filed. And I will say that not only have we filed these charges, but I promise you that we will be watching. For students who think about going to college, being away from home for the first time, and having an opportunity to kind of do what they want, they need to understand that there are always going to be ramifications for your actions. And just because you're at college and you're making money and you think that this is something you can get away with, it's not. It's extremely serious. Law enforcement takes it extremely seriously.
What's up, Big Lock Joker, by the way? Good morning.
And we will continue to investigate and prosecute individuals that decide to deal drugs on college campuses. So how do we get to this point today? This conduct regards trafficking that happened throughout 2023 and 2024. Law enforcement employed a number of investigative tactics to identify the individuals involved, how they were obtaining the cocaine, and methods of packaging and distribution. The grand jury presentment recommending charges is available to you, as it is the affidavit of probable cause attached to the filed criminal complaints. You will read about the runs to Philadelphia and New York, the large quantities of cocaine that came back from these sources, and the transactions, large and small, that followed. I will note that Thomas Robinson was charged previously as well in December of 2024 with drug dealing. Charges against all 14 defendants were filed this morning. The majority of those with felony charges were arraigned this morning, with the exception of Battiello, who a warrant has been issued for his arrest.
Oh, wow.
I want to conclude.
Motherfucker didn't show up, huh?
Conclude by thanking the members of my office, the Office of Attorney General, the agents and the attorneys, and the State College Police Department for their diligent work, their investigation, and the time that they committed to this investigation that we're here to talk about today. I want to thank the grand jurors for their diligence while hearing from the many witnesses who provided testimony and evaluating that testimony before ultimately recommending the charges that we have filed today. At this time, I will note that this is an ongoing investigation. There are certain secrecy aspects that are still in place. And obviously, with that being said, there are certain things we cannot discuss at this time, but to the best of our ability, we will answer the questions that we can. So if anyone has any questions, we will take those questions now.
Okay, we don't really need to get into the questions, to be honest. We're already in overtime, and we still got this to get into. This is breaking this morning, right before we started the live stream this morning. Disney sues Trump's FCC. It says Disney sued President Trump's FCC over the agency's challenge to broadcast licenses. Disney claims the FCC is retaliating over Jimmy Kimmel and the View TV shows. All right, interesting. Here we go. This is coming out just right before we started the live.
As we're following some breaking news, this is just coming in here from the Associated Press. As we're learning, Disney and its ABC unit sued the Federal Communications Commission today to block an early review of licenses for 8 ABC stations, arguing the Trump administration is trying to punish the network over its broadcast content. President Trump has repeatedly urged broadcasters to drop comedy or news programs he dislikes or which have been critical, pressing the FCC on numerous occasions to revoke ABC's licenses. Now, in this lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court in Washington, Disney said the FCC was seeking to coerce and retaliate against, quote, a network that refuses to bow to the administration's demands. Disney and ABC asked the court to quickly issue a temporary restraining order halting the license renewal proceedings and preventing the FCC from scheduling a hearing. The company said the public comment period ended earlier this month and the FCC could act at any time. A bit more information here as we continue to follow this breaking news. The lawsuit alleges the administration is violating the company's First Amendment free speech rights. The lawsuit says, quote, again and again, the administration has attacked ABC's speech, the stories its journalists report, and the viewpoints its network programs air. Now, the White House did not immediately comment. We'll be checking social media here to see if we hear from President Trump or the White House. Now, FCC Chair Brendan Carr, who did not immediately comment today either, ordered the reviews in April, even though the station's license renewals were not scheduled to be considered before April of 2028. The FCC had not ordered an early review in more than 50 years before April. The reviews were ordered a day after President Trump urged ABC to fire late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. Broadcast stations need FCC licenses to use public airwaves. And while license revocations are extremely rare, critics say the threat of losing a license can pressure broadcasters and raise concerns about government interference in editorial and programming decisions. Networks have broad First Amendment protections over programming choices. President Trump called in November for the FCC to revoke ABC's licenses after he criticized an ABC News correspondent for asking Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince about the 2018 killing of a Washington Post columnist in a question he described as, quote, insubordinate. The FCC is also investigating ABC daytime talk show The View, which discusses U.S. politics, after saying it may be subject to federal rules requiring broadcasters to provide equal opportunities to political candidates.
Real quick, this is the best comment of the day, by the way. Steve Easy, it goes out to you. The View is the best place to get your news and life skills. That's right.
Bullshit.
Totally.
Bruh. So this is just coming in here from the Associated Press, as well as Reuters, several other outlets saying breaking. Disney sues the FCC over the agency's challenge to broadcast licenses, claiming retaliation over Jimmy Kimmel, The View, and other shows.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I cannot do this without you guys. I'm honored to be able to do this Monday through Friday, and of course, members only on Saturday morning, man. It's because of you guys that are on the membership program that allow me to do this, so I appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be raiding our buddy Chaotic Truth. Make sure you guys stick around for that. Let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid, Insane Wheels or whatever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Until then, God bless everyone and be safe out there. Much love.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.